Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie 2 MCU edition. I went into the first Sonic movie very skeptical, like most, because, and because video game movies have a reputation, to say the least, and those two, combinations just did not make for a very hopefully good movie. But that movie was a pleasant surprise. Jim Carrey was eccentric as always. Ben Schwartz seemed to be having a good time. And yeah, the movie wasn't a masterpiece by any means, but it was a nice little family-friendly cinematic universe Sonic film, I guess. Sonic 2, I went into skeptical again because they wouldn't be able to do the same shit again, right? That was just a fluke. But yeah, they did it again. Jim Carrey is very good. Ben Schwartz does a good job. But my man Idris Elba adds so much to this movie as Knuckles. He is actually amazing here. He is just on point in every scene. He even got a few laughs out of me, and it's just so fun to watch him on screen. If you're a big fan of the games, there's some nice nods here and there, especially in the end credit scene. The theater fucking erupted like a goddamn MCU movie, but fucking losers, I tell ya. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Also, this movie has so many nods to the MCU, hence why I called it the MCU edition. They have a nod to like the Strange versus Thanos fight, the Infinity Stones, Captain Marvel against Thanos ship. There's so many clear nods to the MCU here, which I don't know if were intentional or not, but not everyone needs their own Infinity Stones. Leave it alone, you fucking studios. The story in this one is fine, family fun video game film. It's no game changer by any means, but it accomplishes its goal, except for one plotline / scene / section that doesn't need to be there, which is the whole Hawaii scene. They have all this shit happen, and then it feels like they lost some of the film, because after all this happens, they just cut away from everything and never go back to it, and just leaves you there like, why? What was the purpose of this except to waste like 10 minutes of my time? While some of this humor actually does land this movie, there's also some old ass jokes that make you feel like you're back in 2017. I mean, they have Jim Carrey floss, because of course, I mean, you gotta put floss in for the kiddos. But they also have shit like a dance off against Polish people to the song Uptown Funk. Whoever came up with this idea is either a complete genius or absolutely mental and belongs in Arkham Asylum. Either way, it's funny in the wrong way, especially since the movie should have ended with the Polish guys winning and Sonic and Tails being burned to death in the fire, because that guy had some fucking moves. Either way, 70 out of 100 on the SLOSH scale. Go see this film. You'll have a fun time. Ambulance is a Michael Bay movie with an Avengers level threat. The LAPD, 1000 out of 100. But for real, this movie is pretty good for a Michael Bay movie. If you like Michael Bay or Jake Gyllenhaal, you'll probably enjoy this movie enough to feel like you didn't waste your money. I have a lot of problems with it, like people being insanely stupid in this universe. The EMT chick is the dumbest person ever. Danny, I mean more like dummy. But seriously, one of the first conversations is this guy talking to the super good looking EMT, who was pointed out to be the best of her class, and apparently for some reason those two things is a horrible matchup, because nobody wants to be her partner. It's like, what? Are you double jeopardy, I guess? But it makes no sense. Or does it? Let me explain. First, I said she was incredibly dumb, right? I'm going to give you some examples. These are minor spoilers, by the way, nothing big here. She is not very talkative and doesn't like people, except you take her hostage, and then she'll tell you everything in vivid detail so you can do your plan exactly like you want it to work out. And then she'll start talking about her life and what makes her happy. You know, she's a social butterfly when you fucking take her hostage and point a gun at her. Then she has this escape plan of escaping quietly while the people are arguing. Okay, fair plan. I mean, yeah, you'll probably get away. But no, last second, she decides to close the door back up, take the fire extinguisher. She has half of her foot out the door, like she's almost gone. But she takes this fire extinguisher and sprays them, basically giving them a heads up that she's running away. Like, why would you do that? There's no reason to do that. It's just like, she just makes so much dumb decisions in this movie. She is operating on some dude, and she doesn't have any clamps. So she just takes her hair clip out of her hair and puts it on him. Like, yeah, the dude's alive for maybe 5 more minutes. until he dies from infection instead, because you can't fucking do that. So that's probably why no one wants to be her partner after thinking about it. She just can't function as a human being. And I mean, for some equality here, let's pick on Danny, because this guy, I don't understand his reasoning. He's trying hard to keep the cop alive because killing a cop is life in prison, okay? He cannot be in life in prison, so he's trying really hard to keep this cop alive. But during this chase, he doesn't realize at least 30 other cops have died. And this dude keeps thinking, if this rookie survives, we will be golden as shit and we will be heroes. Like, what? He also might have like dissociative identity disorder, because he can go from completely mental, I'ma kill this EMT, to helping her and being super supportive and like patting on the back and basically being her dad in the matter of seconds. How do you pull a gun on someone and dangle them off the back of an ambulance and then tell them they have a bright future? Like, no, don't even try. The cops are retarded as shit too. They have to perform surgery in one scene, so they obviously have to slow down to like 20 miles per hour. So this is a perfect chance to like catch them, like get around them, circle them, they can't move, yada yada. No, that's not what they do. They back off because, and I quote, they must be doing something important. What does that even mean? Why would you do something this stupid? You had a perfect opportunity, but it's a Michael Bay movie. No one's there for the characters or story. How's the action? Well, this is like Michael Bay's attempt at getting a Fast and Furious spin-off film, but Vin Diesel was booked. I mean, it's dumb. It's fun, dumb action with questionable CGI. So, I mean, I don't know. Go see this movie if you like Michael Bay movies, or if you don't value brain cells. For a Michael Bay movie, this is like a 7, but for a movie, this is getting like a 50 out of 100 on the SLOSH scale. Go see this film if you feel like you want to, but pre-game a little bit. I mean, trust me. Everything Everywhere All at Once is an A24 movie, so you already know this shit is hot garbage or fucking fantastic. And this is one of the good ones. This movie has a new refreshing look on the multiverse, which has been kind of, I feel like at least is starting to feel drawn out just a little bit. It's still cool, it's still a cool concept, but too many things are doing it nowadays. And I will warn you, I am going to get into some minor spoilers in this section, because I don't feel like I can talk about this movie without getting in the minor spoilers, and I feel like you'll have a much better time watching this movie, seeing it with very little info. So my quick review is, go see this movie. It's a good movie. Now on to the rest of the section. The way this movie handles the multiverse is with a sort of like butterfly effect, and it's completely different than anything I've ever seen, and it actually made for a like what the fuck experience until they start giving you answers, which was nice. The way this ties into the story also makes sense and is explained very well, to the point even your partly schizophrenic grandmother could probably understand what's going on here. Some movies just have this really cool idea, but it takes like 6 viewings to actually have a grasp on what's going on in the movie, and I'm glad this one isn't like that. This acting is also incredible here. These people have to switch roles on the spot, and they pull it off so well. It feels like someone from a different universe just took over this guy's body. Everyone here just does great, whether it's from going to a famous celebrity to a hot dog finger people, or poor people to a literal rock. They do it all. The story here is about enjoying the moments in life that give us happiness instead of focusing on all the shit that drags us down, and don't get like hung up on the negative pretty much. It works well in the movie and has some creative twists in it, but that's all I want to say about the story, otherwise I'd be diving too deep. The set pieces and cinematography are also gorgeous. There's some goofy ass fight scenes where a guy will eat some chapstick and then become Jackie Chan, and it's some really cool shit. It's just the absurdity of it that makes it pop out a lot more than other films, because there's using thumbchucks, and then there's flinging your dog around on a leash to fight people. Beyond that, every frame in this movie feels like there is thought put into it. It's gorgeous at every single second. Nothing looks boring or bland. I do have a couple negatives that I will admit are kind of nitpicky, but in a film like this, you have to nitpick to find shit. One thing that comes to mind is that the trick about doing something super specific to be shot to another universe just kind of gets forgotten, and it becomes just do anything and you'll get exactly what you need to get other people's memories and experiences. If that doesn't make sense, go watch the film and it will make sense. Another thing that isn't exactly a bad thing, but this movie feels long, and depending on who you ask, that might even be a positive, but for me, it feels like this movie could be 15 to 20 minutes shorter and still get everything just as well. Other than that, this movie is nearly perfect. It's getting a 95 out of 100 on the SLOSH scale, baby. Go watch this movie. Bye-bye.